wildcard spot as the Marlins hit the road to close the regular season.
A look at the personality behind the DJ keeps fans engaged during the South Florida media games.
And the Miami Dolphins coming back from Buffalo after an unfortunate divisional game. All of this and more on the Sideline. Hello, South Florida, and welcome to the Sideline, the place where you get all of the highlights for your South Florida teams. I'm Nikki Esper.
And I'm Job Charles, and the Sideline starts now.
As the Marlins close out the season, still in a bout with wild card contention, Miami was on the road playing the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Sideline's Alfredo Bodegas takes a deep dive at the end of the regular season and its implication for the Fish.
1997, 2003, and 2020. 30 years of Marlins baseball, and only those 3 seasons ended in a playoff berth for the Fish. But a win against the Pittsburgh Pirates on the road today would see 2023 added to that list. We're here at the official Marlins watch party as hopeful fans look to see the Fish catch their 4th ever playoff appearance.
A Flanagan's in Southwest Miami-Dade County played host for this potentially momentous day for Marlins baseball and their fans. And we spoke to some Marlins fans to get a greater scope of what it would mean for the fan base.
It would be ecstatic. It would be the best thing that ever happened back in the city here. We got a party.
Man, it's gonna be crazy. Like, they came from underground, and it's been 20 years since they haven't done anything. So we're very excited this year.
Yo siempre he estado con los Marlins ya que soy fan del equipo de donde es Miguel Cabrera en Venezuela, los Tigres de Aragua. Entonces para mí y para mi hijo es realmente emocionante ver cómo los Marlins pueden volver a estar en la postemporada y tratar de llegar a la gran final.
Sometimes it's a rabbit hole. That is it.
Later that night, Marlins fans would finally get their moment as their team sealed a 7-3 win on the road, and they clinched October baseball for the first time in 3 years, and the 4th time in team history.
We got another reason to celebrate in Miami. The Fish are back in the postseason, and they're going to open play in the wildcard round later this week. And if you know anything about the Marlins, you know they have some great history coming out of the wildcard. The opponent's yet to be determined. For now, we can get wild because playoff baseball is back in Miami. For Sideline, I'm Alfredo Bodegas.
Inter Miami continued its chase for the MLS Cup playoffs, with Missy sitting and the game ending in a tie for the 2nd time in the last week. Even though both teams had chances, neither team got on the board until the 77th minute when Santiago Rodriguez punched in the first goal in the game for New York. Miami appeared on the cusp for a 2nd straight loss until Tomas Aviles struck back on the very end with a game header to tie it up. The final score, Inter Miami 1, New York 1. Inter Miami squared off against the Chicago Fire on Wednesday.
The Dolphins' undefeated record and no longer stands following a historic victory versus the Denver Broncos. Miami had a poor showing this week against the Buffalo Bills. They dominated Miami in a 48-20 loss. The Dolphins' defense struggled, allowing double-digit points in 3 quarters. Josh Allen led the way for Buffalo Bills with 4 touchdowns and 320 yards. Miami's offense also struggled, turning the ball over twice and giving up 4 sacks after only allowing 1 in the previous 3 games. The Dolphins return home next week as they look to get a bounce-back win versus the New York Giants.
Dolphin fans, don't get down. Our football analyst, Zeth Leon, tells us why we shouldn't worry too much following the upsetting loss versus the Bills. Hey, Seth, thank you for joining us. Can you please explain what this loss means to you for the Fins?
Yeah, definitely an upsetting loss, for the Dolphins. I understand why fans are upset, but we shouldn't get too down on the team. It's early in the season. It's week 4. The Dolphins have proven that they can beat the Bills, as we saw last year. They competed against, they took a game off them, competed in the playoffs against them very well with the backup quarterback. I think we're looking too much into this. I understand why there's cause for concern. The Dolphins' offensive line did not look great after playing very well in the previous couple weeks, but we had some injuries there. Starting center Connor Williams was out. Teron Armstead went down in the game with an injury. And the team looked good, to start off the game.
So where do you see the teams standing in the NFL and for their division?
I think they're top of the division. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, they've proven that over the past 3 weeks. this was definitely their biggest challenge yet. The Bills are the best team they have played. They're the best defense they have played.
Right.
You know, and yes, they didn't look great against them. They struggled against the Bills. You know, so you want to see them prove it against that top tier competition, but they're still a great team. You know, they have one of the best offenses. I think if Vic Fangio can get that defense, you know, on track, they should be, you know, competing for the #1 seed.
Yeah, well, there are multiple events that happen in sports, whether they go in our favor or not. But let's talk about our biggest wins and losses from this past week. Seth, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start out. We're actually going to stay with the Dolphins game. This isn't, you know, biggest W for the Dolphins, obviously. That wasn't great. But we do love to see Damar Hamlin is back. His first game back since his very scary injury, a cardiac arrest suffered on the Monday night game. He suited up. He didn't, you know, play any defensive snaps, but he was still there. You know, that's great to see him back healthy on the field. But my biggest loss is actually the Miami Heat. So Miami's not looking great this weekend. The Heat, you know, the two of their biggest competitors in the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks really improved their teams, really added firepower that I think is gonna make them, you know, the favorites, you know. And the Heat have never been a team with a you know, loaded roster that you're expecting to like dominate and is the favorites coming in. We weren't the favorites coming into this year, but I definitely, those additions that those teams made, they were already our biggest competitors and they're already tough teams as it is, and I think they got better, and I'm not too sure that the Heat improved this offseason. So I'm definitely worried, and I am a bit concerned, but you know, I still got hope. That's my team.
Yeah. For me, the biggest win I would have to say is the Miami Marlins. They're looking great. Won the 5th seed against Pirates.
And what about your biggest sell? What?
Yeah, so I have to give it to Bill Belichick and the Patriots. This is the biggest loss. It was a 38-3 against Dallas.
Yeah.
This is his career loss. You know, how he benched Mac Jones after, you know, 3 turnovers, ending in Cowboys touchdowns.
Yeah, that was, as a Dolphins fan, you know, the Bills game was tough to watch. So, you know, seeing the Cowboys, even though I'm not a Cowboys fan either, I'm not a big Cowboys fan, but seeing the Patriots get dominated was definitely fun to see, and also good for the Dolphins. You know, another team in your division losing a game after you just, you know, didn't do that well yourself.
How about you, Joe?
Well, me, I think the biggest W is Dame being traded to Milwaukee. I think that's going to be a perfect, you know, I'm not going to automatically just assume yet, but I definitely think him and Giannis could definitely do something great, definitely make the playoffs, definitely
100%.
become a second seed team, in my opinion. You know, we all know Lillard's loyalty for the Blazers was, you know, amazing, but, you know, after 10 years, like, I don't blame him for wanting, you know, something more. So that's where I think my biggest W is. My biggest L would definitely be the Drew Holiday trade. One of the best two-way guards, defenders, in my opinion, that I've seen. Like, he's amazing. And we all saw the post that he was disappointed that the team, you know, that he got traded. So even though he's going to the Boston Celtics, which is a good team, you know, it's a good fit, but but a lot of times you don't really see that loyalty anymore for teams or in anything in general.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was actually like loyal, that he wanted to be on the team, but then he got traded, it's a very disappointing, you know, case. Yeah,
it's funny that your biggest W and L are, you know, in the same trade package in a sense. Obviously, Drew Holiday is now on the Celtics. He was traded again, but it's sad to see that, you know, those two, your biggest W and biggest L, collided.
Right. Here's what's next on the sideline.
The most fun part is getting the interaction.
From FIU to the Heat, a South Florida. From FIU to a South Florida DJ brings the tunes and hype to local teams and the sideline crew. Gives out their picks ahead of jam-packed week of sports. We'll take a timeout and be back in a moment.
Time to grind, our time to shine. Ha, ha, ha. They don't want it with us.
Miranda, it's on top again. Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
DJ M. is one of the most vibrant figures in Miami sports, performing for collegiate and professional level teams across the city.
Sideline's Pablo Hernandez has more from the FIU Sideline own football game against Liberty.
FIU Panthers football games have not just been exciting because we're winning, but also because of the DJ behind the booth. DJ M. has been doing a phenomenal job keeping the crowd entertained during these football games.
The most fun part is getting the interaction, you know, being able to interact with people on a daily basis. You know, in a big venue, it can be 19,000 people at the Heat Arena, or it can be, you know, a couple thousand here at FIU, or, you know, larger places.
DJ M. brings so much joy into DJing that it can reflect upon the crowd during these home games that he's DJing at. The energy between a DJ and a crowd can sometimes be unmatched.
The cool thing about college, man, I absolutely love it. You know, there's so much energy within, like, the college campus, like on the college campus. And today's game just happens to be homecoming. So you can just imagine how many people are going to be inside the stadium. And again, man, having that power to, you know, to have them react to whatever I'm playing and whatever I'm saying on the microphone, it's incredible, man. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
DJ M. will continue to bring all the energy at the next FIU Panthers home game on October 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. For Caplin News, this is Pablo Hernandez.
There are a lot of games coming up this next week for our Miami teams. We're going to look at some games and just give our predictions of what the outcome might be. Starting off, we're going to start with the Inter Miami CF at Chicago Fire FC. This is going to be October 4th at 8:30 on the Soldier Field. Honestly, this game, it could go one or two ways. I'm going to say it's either going to be a tie or a close loss. The team is hurt. You know, we just found out that Lionel Messi is out for this season due to a meniscus sprain.
No, I definitely agree. I think the ticket sales and, you know, Messi being, you know, because Messi came to Inter Miami, it became such a big team. And I agree that, you know, he's not going to be able to because he's injured. So I think that it'll definitely be a tie, like you said.
Yeah. What is your prediction for the Miami Marlins and the Phillies? You know, this is the.
I think the Marlins have been doing, you know, pretty well for themselves. I do believe that they definitely can win against the Phillies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miami Dolphins versus New York Giants on October 8th at 1 p.m. at the Hard Rock Stadium. This is a Daniel Jones versus the Tua Tagovailoa match. You know, Daniel Jones, he's got 562 passing yards, and we're looking at Tua with 1,306 passing yards. So, you know, between that, you could easily see who's got the upper hand. Right. But as we were mentioning earlier, Dolphins do have they're coming off a loss, and they have a couple people hurt. But, you know, I'm looking into the Dolphins. I think that they are higher in the division. I think the Giants are really down there, so.
I think the Dolphins definitely can, you know, have an upper hand. Even after, you know, scoring 70 points and after the loss, I do think they could come back and definitely get a win.
That's all the time we have this week. I'm Nikki Esper.
And I'm Job Charles. We'll see you next week on Sideline.